Shalom. Welcome to Healing Streams. My name is Apostle Kweku Edametey. Shall we pray? Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, we want to thank you. As we dive into your word, we pray to help us with your spirit, that we will know, be sensitive to time, and know when to do what, and do it at the right time, that we will enjoy the seasons and the times in our life. I pray for my hearers, that Lord, you bless them, and you bless their families and generations with healing streams in Jesus' name. Amen. Today we are looking at times and seasons. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it said that to everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. Now, when you go on and on and on, it talks about time to do everything up to about verse 8. Now, I want us to dwell on the verse 1. It said, to everything there is a season and a time. A season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Time is a period within which we carry out an activity. It is a period which is measured. So, we normally use clocks, we use days, we use hours, minutes, and seconds, and months and years to measure times. But seasons are a bit different, even though seasons are part of time. A season is an opportune time or the right time for carrying out a certain activity. We were talking the last time about the fact that God built the house and the fact that people must learn to build at any point in time. Why are we talking about times and seasons? We live in a time where everybody wants to buy everything and nobody wants to build anything. We live in a time of instant stuff, instant photograph, instant internet, instant food, instant marriage, instant divorce, instant death. Everything is instant, including marriage and divorce. And it surprises me that many of us want to enjoy life, but none of us want to take time to build anything. All of us, everybody wants to just enjoy. Somebody starts out short, 5 years of working, they want to have something that somebody who has worked for 30 years has. And that is a cancer that is eating up our society. And I think we need to talk about it. The Bible said that to everything there is a season. You see, when you were born, you were a baby. There was a season that your parents had to take care of you. And they took care of you and you got to a place where you learned how to crawl. You actually started sitting up. And after sitting up, you were falling over. And after falling over, you started crawling. You started standing up and falling. And now you were standing up, picking steps. And by the time you realize you are running. And now you can do all sorts of things. It is amazing for us that in our day, everybody wants to enjoy something, but nobody wants to do things at the right time. Many parents around the world are worried about their children not being able to take care of them. But during that time, they should have sacrificed something to help their children to do something good they were not able to do it. They missed that season. If you miss a season to do something, when it comes for the time for you to enjoy, that season will also elude you. Because I said there is a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted. Beloved, the Bible over and over tells us that there is a given season for which we should do everything. If you fail to do something in its season, when the season is past, you are not going to enjoy it. Every season that you are in, you have to understand that as a matter of need, as a matter of life, there is a season, a set time for every activity. If you are supposed to be learning in school, and instead of focusing on learning, you did not focus to learn, but you're doing other things. Remember that when there comes the time for examination and the rest, you'll be found wanting, and you will blame somebody. Some of us have always been blaming people. We blame everyone except the one person responsible. That is you. Somebody is the reason why things have happened. Some of us always, it is somebody's fault and not us. Some of us don't want to have the time to build anything. We don't want to have the time to work on anything. We just want to enjoy. But you see, you need to know that there's a time to plant. There's a time you have to invest in children. There's a time you need to invest money. There's a time you need to invest in your ideas. There's a time you need to invest prayer. You need to invest Bible reading. You need to invest reading good literature. There's a time you need to invest in your relationship. And if you failed not to do at that time, that season, you see, a season is the right time, the right time. So as it is right now, maybe you want to enjoy something from your husband or your wife or your brother or your sister or the relationship or the business. You want to ask yourself, what season is it right now? What season is it? Because if you miss the season in doing something, you go to another time, then you're going to have a problem. So if there's a time for you to plant and you don't plant, now when it gets to the time to harvest, the season for planting, and the Bible said in Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, it said, as the heavens and the earth remain, seed time and harvest shall not cease. So that it is a natural law, it is a biblical law, it is a spiritual law, that there's a time we need to sow things, and there's a season when we have to do everything. It said seed time and harvest. These seasons will not pass. If you don't invest in your tomorrow today, when you get to tomorrow, you'll be blaming people, but you have forgotten that you have only 3 days. I keep saying it, you have only 3 days. You have yesterday, today, and tomorrow. What you are in today is as a result of the seeds you sowed. Maybe it's the seed of prayer. Maybe it's the seed of fasting. Maybe it's the seed of reading books. It's the seed of going for seminars and building yourself. Maybe it's the seed of learning to keep quiet. Because there's a season to talk and a season not to talk. Some of us are always blaming somebody else, but not us. You want to sit down and ask yourself, have I made good use of my seasons? What season is it in your life at this moment? Young man, young woman, you just married. Young man, young woman, you just started working. And you want to enjoy something that has taken some people 15 years, 12 years, and 10 years to build. I was talking to a friend, and the friend was complaining bitterly about the fact that we started out in ministry a long time before others, and they seem to be doing well. And I asked the young man, do you know where I'm going? At this moment in life, I need to be taking time to lay the necessary foundations for the ministry. Some people were fortunate. Their parents laid the foundations for them. Some of us had to start from the scratch. The reason why we don't have the patience to want to wait is this issue of competitiveness, our competitive spirit. We think that everything is a competition, but listen to me. Everything in life is how you make it. Life is a marathon. It's not a single sprint. In a sprint, you gather all your energy, you run a 400 meter, 200 meters, or 100 meter dash, and you're done. But in a marathon, you are running through various aspects of life. Life is like a steeplechase. You step in mud, sometimes you step in the desert sand, sometimes you step in water, and you have to keep moving. So you need to take time to build the right things you need to build right now. The Bible said that if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? What foundations should you be laying for your finances at this time? Are you having the patience to do them? What foundations are you supposed to be laying at this time as I'm talking to you? Maybe you're supposed to be waking up in the night and reading good books, reading and encouraging yourself and training yourself, building and listening to good people to build the right mindset. Maybe this is the time you're supposed to be saving money, but you are enjoying every day and you want to have it tomorrow. You can't do that. There's a season where you have to invest, and there's a season where you have to wait for your investment to mature. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about investing into the relationship. I'm talking about investing into your marriage, investing into your spouse, into your children. Some parents were always enjoying everything they had. They never put their children where they had to put them. They never put their nephews and everybody around them where they had to put them. And others sacrificed their comfort. Others sacrificed their enjoyment. Others sacrificing wearing fashionable clothes and all that. Now their children are in enviable positions in society. And they are doing everything they have to do for them. And you are blaming them. And some of us are actually telling our children, don't you see your other friend doing A? Don't you see your other friend doing B? But you have to understand that there was a season where their parents put them in the right pedestal. Some parents are complaining, why is it that my children are supposed to be taking care of me now, but they are still trying to fend for themselves? Because in the season and the time that you have, in order to sacrifice some things for them, in order to be a bit hungry and do some things, you forgot to do it. And because you forgot to do it, at the time they are also supposed to be taking care of you, they were not also able to do that. To everything, there's a season and a time. He said there's a season and a time. A purpose for a time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time for taking time to build your relationship with the Lord. You have to have time to build it. You need to build it. It doesn't just grow. The Bible said if the Lord does not build, the builder builds in vain. If the Lord himself takes time to lay foundations and build, why is it that you want to just have it? We love to buy things, yeah. But you see, even when you buy it, there are still operational laws you must understand. As I'm talking to you, I'm able to get to you because there's a digital system. There are cameras and other things, sound issues that are all going, but they are all working on a certain principle and a protocol. What season is it in your life? You want to be a billionaire? Ask yourself, in this season of my life, what do I need to do in order to become that billionaire? I'm an apostle. I'm a prophet. I'm a pastor, man of God, woman of God. I'm a singer. What foundation do you need to be laying right now? Some of us always have this illusion that somebody, I don't know where they are coming from, but we think that somebody from outside is going to come to us and hand us a big check. But let me ask you, even if they do that, what principles do you know about management? What principles do you know about carrying out these things you are talking about? There's a time that you have to do something. And when that purpose is done in this time, it is the season. For example, if everybody is supposed to be weeding and you are sleeping, when they start sowing, you have been sleeping. So now when people are sowing their seeds, you are now weeding. But I say that in life, it is better late than never. Sometimes you are demanding some things from people. You want to ask yourself, what have I put in there? Sometimes we go to the ATM to cash our money, and when you punch, they tell you your financial institution is unavailable. Sometimes they tell you don't have sufficient funds. Do you have sufficient love given to your spouse? Do you have sufficient appreciation, sufficient gratitude? Do you have sufficient prayer time, sufficient prayer, sufficient fasting, sufficient dedication, sufficient commitment? I want to ask you, well, sometimes it's always the devil, but I don't think it's the devil all the time. There's a time in your life which you should have invested in praying and reading good books. You didn't. I'm not saying watching movies is bad, but some of you, that's all that you do. You want to be a writer. Everybody woke up and wanted to be a writer, but few are. Everyone wanted to be a great speaker, but few are. Everyone wanted to be a great minister, but few are. There are principles you need to acquire. There are skill sets you need to get imbibed in your system. If you don't sit and do it, a time will come when you shall be questioned. And that day, you will see written on the walls of your life, the walls of your marriage, the walls of your business, mene tekel ufarsin. You have been weighed and found wanting. If you fail to do something in this season, when the time of harvest comes, you are going to be in trouble. The Bible said seed time and harvest. There's a time when you must invest your energy and your effort and everything in your children. There's a time where you must invest everything you have and every resource you have in your spouse, your husband, your wife. Some of us, they should always invest in us. We don't want to invest in the other person. There's a time where you must sit down and reflect on your relationships, your business, your interaction with people, and ask yourself, what season is it in my life now? Some of us, when it is a season where our spouses are laying foundations, we are not peaceful. We want it because we see other people giving it to their spouse. I want to ask you, do you know the season that it is in your life and you know the season it is in their life? We like to hear the story because we watch a lot of movies, so we are still sleeping. We need to wake up. If you see your friend who just got married, maybe you got married before they got married, and they seem to be doing something, probably they had the opportunity to sow something, to lay some foundations before they got married. You were not able to do that. Why will you not get together with your spouse and patiently begin to lay the foundations together? You have an idea, your spouse doesn't have it. You have an idea, your pastor doesn't have it. You have an idea, your business partner doesn't have it. Why don't you take time to create that time to talk about the purpose? And instead of doing that, some of us will get to insulting our friends, insulting our spouses. Some of us actually walk out of them, say all kinds of things to them. And then when somebody comes along and the person have the patience to want to build with us, we are saying, no, those who left us were no good. But were we understanding the seasons and the time that we were in? There's a time where you have to build financial foundations so that when the time for financial blessing comes, you can enjoy. You can't enjoy financial bliss today and tomorrow. You have to choose between today and tomorrow. You can't decide to be sleeping and expect that God will be talking to you all the time. Man of God, I want to talk to you. You need to be fasting and praying and waiting on God. Some of you hardly read the Bible. You call yourself Christians. You are something else. Some of you know a lot about movies that you know about the Bible. Some of you know a lot about some other things which you say are not your passion. What is your passion? What season is it in your life? You want to sit down and consider that. Stop blaming the devil when the devil has not done anything. We are giving the devil too much advantage. But I want to say that it is your responsibility. Go back and sit and ask yourself, what time is it in my life? Is it a time to be harvesting or is it a time to be sowing? All farmers go to the farm every day, but only one becomes the national best farmer. All businesses go out there to do businesses every day, but at the end of the year, one wins Business Excellence Award. All pastors go to church, but few, mostly few are celebrated. Not because their message have been watered down, but few do what God has called them to do. And let me tell you, success in life has nothing to do with how well you do what somebody is doing. Your success in life before God will be judged by how well you do what God has given you to do. Your marital success or your husband's success or your wife's success is not based on what somebody is doing outside, but what that person is able to do with your help in their life. Your business success is not measured by somebody's business success, but yours. It's time to stop looking outside and ask yourself, what purpose am I for? And what time is it right now? What is your purpose in life? You want to focus on it. What is your purpose in ministry? You want to focus on it. And let me put a disclaimer here. All of us are not going for the same thing. Some people, their ministries and their business and everything is just some 9-day wonder. That's it. Some of us are building generational ministries. Some of us are doing generational businesses. So you need to understand, all that glitters is not gold. There is a season for doing something. You must find out and do it. And when you are able to do what you have to do at the season, when that time for harvest comes, you'll be able to enjoy it. So if you are supposed to be planting now, be planting. If you are supposed to be reading books right now, read the books. If you are supposed to be fasting now, fast right now. If you are supposed to be taking courses, take the courses. Why? Because you know the purpose and you know that this is the time you want to go. To everything, there is a season. A time for every purpose under heaven. What profit has the worker from that in which he labors? Verse 9. I want to ask you. You are busy always comparing someone with someone. What profit is that for you? Why not focus on building something together? Some of you use the word together only when it is you, but when it's the other person, it's the other person. I was talking with a group of people and then the man said something and I will never forget. He said, it looks as if that when the thing is about me, my spouse will say, what are you going to do? But when it is about my spouse will say, what are we going to do? Some of you are like that. Self-centered, selfish, self-conceited, one-sided in a relationship. This is a season for you to sit down and reflect. You have always been saying the other person is not bad. Why don't you also sit and think about yourself? Ask yourself, truly, is it that my spouse is bad or me? Is that my business partner is the one who doesn't have ideas or I'm the one who is fighting it? Some of us are carrying things from the past and we are not ready to let it go. Yeah, we all get there once in a while. But I want to ask you, what season is it right now? Many families don't have the patience to want to see the young men take time and build a foundation for their lives. As soon as we hear they are out of college or they are out of school and they are doing national service or something, we send all our need and our help on them. And so at the time they are supposed to be building good foundations for their businesses tomorrow, we are enjoying them today. And then we'll blame them tomorrow, forgetting that we are the ones who pressured them to destroy it. Some regions and continents, parts of our continents and our nations have never seen industrialization the way we say, because we have a consumption culture. We want to buy and consume. We don't want to have time to lay the foundations and build. As the heavens and the earth remains, the Bible says, seed time and harvest. Seed time and harvest. There's a time you have to be sowing seeds into various aspects of your life. There's a time you have to be sowing seeds into various aspects of family. There's a time you're supposed to be sowing seeds into various parts of your spouse's life. And when the time comes, you will harvest it. Don't demand when you have not sowed anything. Because you have not sown any corn in the ground, you cannot harvest it. If you have not sown anything, you cannot harvest it. And understand that life is not a competition. It is a marathon, a steeplechase, not a sprint. You have no one running with you. You are running against yourself. What season is it in your life now? Are you starting out a ministry now? Take time, lay the right foundation, get the right training, the requisite skills, and begin to build your ministry.